I'm gonna try re-recording that. I kind of went off on a tangent, but you guys get to watch my little guy attack a crab some more. I hope you're all coming to my 99 crab party. Anyways, people will call me a contrarian. I'm gonna try to make this a bit more brief than I did before because I did go off on a few tangents. But basically, I'm not really too much of a contrarian. You know, obviously the stuff I say, I agree with somebody on something, and really I just kind of go with whose opinion sounds more, I don't want to say logical, but you can even call it a vibe really. But like for instance, I took the side of the lobbyist on Stop Killing Games because I was like, there's no way in hell they're gonna be able to pass all this. Like so much of this stuff just sounds like it's going to piss off not only lawyers but also multiple governments and multiple, pretty much every corporation out there. They're all going to be pissed off at this. So I was like, I don't really have to worry about it getting passed. People will take an ideological standpoint. I take a more, do I think this is realistic kind of approach, you know? And so people will say, why don't you agree with this? I'm like, it's not whether or not I agree with something, it is whether or not I think it is not only possible, but also uh, basically I make predictions. You know what I mean? And I'm not very good at making predictions, but that's just something I do. So for this child safety law, my last video was more or less predicting what is going to happen to this regulation. I do think it's going to pass. I think it's going to pass in every government they try it in. There's really no way around that. But it's also, do I have to care about it? You know, and that's really where people get upset, is that I'm not as upset about it as they are. And it's because I don't really like, proprietary software is just something I do in order to fit in with society, basically. I use it for my bank, I use it for chat rooms for now, and I don't even have to use it for chat rooms if I don't want to. I use it to upload these videos, even though I could drop this channel whenever I want and it wouldn't fucking matter. It would be like a little blip on the radar. You know, nobody would care if I dropped this channel, you know? It's not something I need. I don't need to access Pornhub in order to, you know, obviously. I don't need all of the software, and it doesn't really matter to me what they are doing with it because I can just choose to opt out of it, you know? It doesn't. So for ideology, if you actually want to talk to me about my actual ideals, you want to talk to me about free software. You want to talk to me about how I think software should be developed, who it should be developed for, what it should do. That's the kind of stuff you want to talk to me about. You don't want to talk to me about regulation that affects primarily corporations, businesses, and what was it? Where was I going with that? And proprietary software, basically, because I'm like, I don't have any control over proprietary software. I don't even own the program that you're talking about. Why would I care what regulation affects them? Because it doesn't help me be anonymous when I'm accessing. I can't even actually name a website where I would care about this. You know, because this age verification thing is really going to, if it's a company that's big enough, I'm not going to care because I know my information's secure. And if it's a company that's way too small, I can just choose not to use their product because I probably haven't heard of it anyways, you know? But people, of course, are going down the slippery slope, and yeah, there is a slippery slope and it does slip. And nothing I say about it is going to affect that. I can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it. Nobody can do anything about it. Like, it's just gonna be the way it is. This is a government decision. It is made by the elites. It is made by the corporations. You know, they're gonna figure it out, and it will affect you whether or not you want it to. So why does it help that we're getting into politics? Why does it matter? It doesn't. It doesn't matter. I mean, I know that sounds really doom and gloom, but it's like I don't really have an ideology for how the broader internet should work because the broader internet is full of what the FSF would consider malware. It's full of proprietary crap, it's full of data mining, it's stuff I don't care about. It's stuff I don't wanna interact with, it's stuff I don't wanna engage with. So why should I mourn when the when the world falls around me? When it didn't give me a chance to speak up on it anyways, you know? Like, it just doesn't affect me. If the internet goes to hell tomorrow, I've got 50 other fucking places I could be. Like, I don't give a fuck, you know? But that's kind of the thing about this is people will say that I'm giving or that my takes are incorrect on this. And there's really nothing incorrect about what I'm saying unless I'm just actually misinformed about a topic. But I kind of look at things through the way that the government is looking through things. I see the 18 plus checkbox as a something that, obviously needs to be worked around, needs a proper solution. They've been proposing a solution for like the last 20 years. It's finally coming. What am I going to do about it? I don't care. you know, it doesn't it's not something I'm going to have to deal with. It would obviously be something that I may have to deal with to like access my mobile bank or something, or like maybe my email, who knows. But it's not really going to affect me all that much, like, if I'm being real. So anyways, that's kind of what I wanted to say today is, if we're talking ideology, people will say that I'm insane, but I don't really talk ideology very much, like, realistically. I really have no ideals when it comes to proprietary software. It's not something I'm particularly interested in. It's not something I really mourn the loss of because I've moved to free software. So now I have to wait for them to come for my free software, and then I will take a stand because I actually do own the programs I use there. So that would be something worth fighting, and I don't think they could create a law that affects free software in that way. I don't think it would work out. But for this proprietary software that's controlled by corporations, these online services, that stuff I do think they can control, and it's stuff I can't control. So I'm sorry that I don't care what happens. It's something that I'm trying to avoid in my life.